going on, YouTube fam? I hope you guys had an excellent Christmas and New Year's. So, back to business, back to showbiz. We got an Adamancipator deck profile. Late bringing this deck to you guys, but I've been elsewhere for a few days and all that stuff. And spoiler, I'm in quarantine, unfortunately. So, with that being said, we are better. I finally had some time to get back to my residence and come back here, but better late than never. So with that being said, guys, I would like to take you to the deck profile so you guys can see my choices. All right, guys, we're gonna start the deck profile off. We're gonna break this up into parts, and so what we're gonna do is how this first of all, I'm going to explain the difference as in how you want to play it now versus how you played it then. For those of you who haven't seen my past Adamancipator videos for this past week and a half, go ahead and check that out. But we got Analyzer, Seeker, Researcher. These ratios don't really change. You just want to see the tuners as much as possible, especially if you go first or second. These are the cards that, of course, let you cascade into more card advantage. So there's not too much to say here. You do max out on them. So the name of the game, of course, now is to put out Arclight or Crystal Wing as fast as possible, so you can neutralize some of these cards. Like Nibiru isn't really seeing play right now, but you still see it come up here and there in the side deck, so you don't really want to get blown out. So we're playing, it's important to play like level 2s now, again, to make Arclight a lot easier by the 5th summon, per se. So this is why we still play Weeping Idol, 3 Quacky Mirror Suppliers. Some decks play 2, I prefer to play 3 because you still want to see bodies. The more you can extend with this deck, the better. And so these are typically the rocks that you're going to summon if you don't hit Roxy's as one of your alternate ways to play the game. We have 3 Dino Wrestler, 3 level 2 Dino Wrestlers. It's a Photon Thrasher essentially. If you control the monster, you can drop this. It is a tuner, but you cannot use it for a link summon if you summon it by its own summon condition. Unless it's for a linked material with Dino Wrestler, but again, we're not really linking with this. This deck isn't really so dependent on resolving Needle Fiber anymore. You really just want to make Arclight really quickly. Either Arclight, or if you have the level 4, you can make Raptite and get your combo plays going. So Arclight or Raptite is typically what you're trying to turbo with this deck and get into your pieces as fast as possible, or get into protection for your combo as quickly as possible. So that is what these are for. If you see if you see a combination of these or just this with any of the Adamancipator tuners, you're in a really good spot to have blank protection or blanket protection for the rest of your combo. So that's it there. And now we're going to go on with some of just the extra support cards. 2 Petting Cessors. You really don't want to see 3. Honestly, I don't even think it being an Earth monster even matters anymore. I've seen some people play some Tinnies. However, this you could put on the board alongside the this guy, so they so at that point they don't conflict. So that's why I keep Petting Cessor as an option. And we're playing Revival Golem because we are still playing what's its name, the Miracle Rupture, I believe that's what it's called, and Plague Spreader for Needle Fiber. So if you draw a combination of any of the anything to send this to grave, Petting Cessor, or this, even if you draw all 3, you are good to go. You're still in a really good spot. They're all live. That's what I like about them. So on to the alternate way you play the deck, man. The win conditions. This is how you just don't lose to Droplet and Dark Ruler. You're playing a small Prankets package. You're going to play 3 Roxys, of course, because you do want to maximize your chance of hitting one. You don't want to open it. You do, however, because you're playing 3, you're likely to hit it off of the first 2 Excavates, which is kind of what you want. the first excavate you want to kind of make like Raptite and stuff, and with the second excavate you want to at least hit one, but if not, you can go for third excavate and still hit it. Odds are on your side in regarding math. This is a 42 card deck, by the way, because you're playing cards you don't necessarily want to open, but if you open them, it's not the end of the world. You just prefer to see like Adamancipator stuff and extenders and like access to granite really fast, arc light, things like that. So of course you play the 1 copy of Pandemonium, you know, for your Butler plays. You're playing 3 signs still because you want to extend past all the hand traps. 2 Miracle Ruptures for Revival Golem along with a Foolish Burial, so you have 3 Foolishes for this card. If you open signs, you can Foolish anything. You can Foolish like Roxy's with Rupture or Analyzer and just Reborn your stuff. Speaking of Reborn, we are playing 1 Reborn and 1 Midbreaker Field to round it off. Honestly, this card is just better going second now that everybody's playing Torrential Tribute. So that is something to look out for. Yeah, again, Imperm isn't really seeing too much play like that because it's not very good. So, at least not right now. So Imperm Nib, that's kind of phased out a little bit. So I'm like, yeah, cool. And the thing about this deck is because people are playing like Ghost Spell isn't too effective against this deck, but you do need to watch out for Skullmeister. Skullmeister hits all your prank kids, so that is something to watch out for. Again, just more reasons why it's important to put up Arclight ASAP, and that is why I got the choices the way I got them regarding the main deck structure in terms of the monsters. Alright guys, so for the extra deck, it is very, very tight, but every single card in your extra deck you have to play. So we got our Granite, of course. Just it's what I'd rather have it not need it than need it and not have it. So Granite is that one. That's the only XE we're playing. 1 Fusion, which is the Butler, of course, so your alternate win con. The benefit of playing Butler is that you again don't lose to Dropler or Dark Ruler. The reason why you don't lose to it is because you can keep Pandemonium set for as long as you possibly can, and with all the other interruptions that are on board, your opponent is basically forced to drop Droplet, or they're going to lose most, if not all, their card advantage trying to save Droplet for, like, let's say Butler. Meow Meow. Doodle to search the Pandemonium, and you gotta play Bow Wow because you have to play it literally because of Arclight. If you put up Arclight, you would after you summon Roxy's and you make your Meow Meow, you want to summon Fansies to Foolish. So once you make this, you Foolish either the water or the fire, and you summon the other, and then you add the wind, and whichever one you Foolish to your hand, so you have the setup. However, if you have Arclight, that card that you Foolish with Fansies gets banished, so that means you're stuck without making Butler. So instead of summoning Fansies, you summon any of the other 2, and then you summon Fansies last instead, only when Arclight is on the board. If it wasn't for Arclight not applying its kind of condition to your field and grave as well, then I wouldn't need this, and I would actually have space for Abyss Dweller, which is highly important in this game right now, because everything is using the graveyard, virtual world, Drytrons, you name it. Needle Fiber and Appaloosa are the last 2 Link monsters. Yeah, this isn't a very Link focused deck like it was. You know, ever since we lost Link Cross, you kind of don't need all those extra cards. So we got Arclight, of course, and Raptite, your 2 best kind of things you want to. These are typically the first 2 things you're going to synchro into almost all of the time. Leonite, you kind of get some educated guesses going on here. You want to kind of keep track of what you're excavating. Like if you excavate twice and you don't see an Adamancipator signs, you kind of want to go into this, and chances are you'll hit it at that point. Alright, next we got Dragite. of course, you got to Crystal Wing. It's an option. I feel like a lot of times you will make a lot of you'll make any combination of 2 level 8 synchros. You often do want to put up at least a Dragite to negate spells and traps, because spells and traps are kind of what you want to stop, especially with all the trap cards being played now. Savage Dragon, it's your best one, but I almost feel like you kind of want to save it, or the Crystal Wing, because it does kind of get over things. And last but not least, you play Formula Synchron and Satellite Warrior to pop your opponent's cards when they try to play into your board, or if they want to just play back row decks and set 4, you can just summon the Satellite and pop all 4 of their back row and just kind of win the game from there. Satellite Warrior, again, it effectively does play around the Droplet, because everybody leaves the Needle Fiber alone, nobody really hits it, because it never really uses this effect to banish and summon a Synchro Tuner, outside of maybe Infernoble, and that's in like simplified game states, but they didn't have full combo. So now comes the side deck, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. First off, we're doing anti-back row, because back row is being played again. We don't like back row, so all the 1-0s that we need: Pank, Boy, Reboot, Feather Duster. As much as I would like to play Lightning Storm, 1, I don't own it. 2, even if I did, the thing about it is, even like back row decks are still playing around the Lightning Storm, and even against like decks like Virtual World, VFD still resolves. Vanity's Ruler, it kind of like deals with it. So I guess that's okay there, but like Infernobles and stuff, they'll negate it. But you really do want effective things against back row, and like Evenly Match is cool, but they can still keep their best back row, and it's probably like a Floodgate or something. So I went with Anti-Magic Arrows, because this is Adamancipators. You can play your spells and traps. You can play your Miracle Ruptures first, you can play your Midbreaker Fields and all that stuff. So typically any other spell you see in your hand is good to go before you proceed into battle phase and activate this card, outside of maybe Signs. But you know, hey, sometimes I'm willing to sacrifice Signs if it means locking down all my opponent's back row for that turn, and you know, being able to just play without getting Terrain Shield, without getting hit with like Ice Dragon's Prison. It's very vital. So these are my 6 cards I chose to side against back row. Now against the other decks, you kind of just need to side against the big 2, being Virtual World and Drytron. So Ghost Bell is really good against both of them, so that's really good. Now against Virtual World, I chose XYZ Encore. 1, I can't afford Droplet. If you can afford Droplet, just play Droplet, but XYZ Encore gets the job done as equally as well. Not only is it good against VFD, it stops Zeus, and it stops Zexal. Again, same thing as Droplet, but again, this is the much more budget-friendly option. Your opponent can't respond to it, so there's that. And again, this stops Zexal. It gets around Arclight as well, so if I'm playing against Infernoble, I can hit this on the draw phase. It's because I have turn player priority, and they can't do anything about it, so there's that. Again, it stops Zodiacs, it stops Zeus. Yeah, and it stops Zexal for like Numeron-based shenanigans. 2 Forbidden Droplets, it's good against both. You could always use more cards to stop like VFD and what's his name, and Vanity's Ruler. So, and the last card, because it's too important, man. Dweller wins against both Drytron and Virtual World. So as much as I would love to have main deck space for this thing, I just couldn't find the space to fit it in. Like, maybe I could take out the Crystal Wing, but there are times where you don't have the water in the grave to make Dragite, so you just make Crystal Wing and Savage instead. So I don't know, guys. Like, I go into every single extra deck card in that deck quite often, So it's just kind of, I don't know, man. Maybe if sometimes I'll side out the prank kid stuff depending on what my opponent's playing, and maybe at that point I'll side in the dweller. But if I know I'm going first against like virtual world or Drytron, 100% I'm siding this in. So guys, that is the deck profile in total, main, extra, and side. Again, main deck is 42 cards. So that's it for me, guys.
Okay, guys, that is it for my deck profile. I'm sorry for the lack of energy here. Yeah, I'm not the best right now, so gotta stay indoors, gotta stay away from everybody. Anyway, guys, did you enjoy the deck profile? Yay, nay? If you did, consider subscribing. Infernoble Nights is coming up next. So, yeah, and after Infernoble, it comes Dragon Link. So, stay tuned for all of that, guys. So, hit that notification bell if you guys want to see some more combos, combo decks, and all the good stuff in between from yours truly. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is J Money, and I am signing out.